Good morning, good afternoon, and thanks for making time to speak with us today. I'm looking forward to speaking with you about the topic of creating the e-commerce experience your customers expect. Over the course of the next hour or so, we're going to be talking to you about NetSuite, our commerce offering, and specifically B2B commerce, and how it can work with your business. So my name is Ron Gabodla. I'm the industry lead for wholesale distribution over here at NetSuite. I'm also pleased to be joined by Owen Thale, who's our e-commerce vertical market expert. And he's going to be really conducting the bulk of the presentation with the demo. I'll introduce Owen here a little bit later in the presentation after we get through some initial slides and talk about the agenda. So just to go over the quick agenda. So it's a fairly short agenda. We're gonna give a little bit of background about why B2B commerce. Hopefully, if you're on this call, you already know a lot about B2B commerce. You're already thinking about it and realize its importance. But just want to talk a little bit about that. Give you some background around that. We're going to talk about NetSuite's solution for B2B commerce and specifically focus on a product demonstration to really give you a sense of how it behaves and how it looks. And then we'll leave time at the end, of course, for question and answer. So if you do have questions, either at the beginning or throughout or at the end, feel free to go ahead and type those in as we go, and we'll make sure we answer those at the end. So with that, why don't we go ahead and dive in and get started with the program. So I want to start off with just a few stats for you and to talk a little bit about why B2B commerce. And, I think the number right in the middle says it all, $780 billion of B2B commerce in 2015. According to a Forrester report that was released in early April, it projects that U.S. manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors will sell $780 billion to other companies via the web this year. And that growth only continues to accelerate. Business buyers, and many of us see this in our businesses every day, prefer to shop online, and sellers can cut costs, of course, by serving them via the web. Now, of course, everyone always, when they talk about commerce, they think of only retail commerce. And of course, that tends to be the sexier part of commerce and what people think about. But B2B is really where the biggest sales and growth figures are in the commerce market. In fact, it's almost twice the amount of U.S. retail e-commerce sales, which is predicted around $304 billion. B2B commerce will be closer to $780 billion. But I think some of the other items that are on the slide here are really important, which is that 30% of buyers are completing at least half of their purchases online. And we see this on our own every day. If it's what's working for us on the consumer side, why wouldn't we want to do it on the business side? We're also seeing that self-service can mean a 90% cost reduction. And so, of course, there's a cost reduction element of this to driving business to the web. 74% of buyers are researching at least half of their purchases online. And of course, that's also increasing the importance of mobile and why people need to be thinking about mobile. And lastly, B2B buyers spend more when they interact with multiple channels, not unlike what you see in the consumer world, but same thing holds in the B2B world as well. And when you look at this market and the growth of it, it's predicted by 2020 that this will be over $1.1 trillion. I think the other really important thing is when you think about e-commerce, it's more than just the shopping experience. Now, of course, there's catalog and product content, checkout, search, and responsive design when you think traditionally of commerce. But commerce can be much, much more. And I think that's one of the really important things that I hope you'll see as we go through the course of this presentation. Things like order management, inventory visibility, customer service, but also the multiple different types of business models that are there, shipping and fulfillment, billing and payments, the accounting side of things, but also thinking about how do you have multi-tenant support and also everything else that goes around how do you actually host and deliver your solution. And that's really what brings us to kind of the key thing when you talk about the NetSuite solution for commerce. And now our focus of today is going to be specifically on the B2B experience. But one, of course, the benefits and differentiators of the NetSuite solution is that you can, of course, not just have B2B commerce, but also B2C on that same platform. But also things like point of sale, order management, that product content management. We, of course, also think of being global right out of the box, and the number of countries and the currencies we support. And then, of course, the full back office functionality that's really core to NetSuite as well. So everything from how do you manage your inventory, how do you manage your payments, how do you manage your finances, how do you manage your supply chain, how do you make sure and manage your buying experience. All of that is part of the solution. And one of the things you'll see as we go through this is how the benefits that you have from having that single integrated solution with Commerce on the front end that's really built around the customer experience, fully integrated and tied in together with that back office experience, saving you from having to replicate and duplicate data, having to replicate and duplicate information, and ultimately driving a better experience for your customer, but also saving money at the end. Just to give you a couple stats on SuiteCommerce, and that this is really our solution for commerce. We're not just a fly-by-night operation. There are over 3,200 B2B and B2C websites that are running our solution today. Over 1.3 billion unique website visitors yearly, 10 million web orders processed, and a number of products that are managed as well, leveraging the SuiteCommerce platform. You see a number of logos on the left-hand side. After the demo, I'll go through some specific customer examples and show you how some of these folks are using our solution and talk about the benefits they've been able to get as part of the NetSuite offering. So just talk a little bit about the feature set. And, of course, Owen's really going to be able to dive in and give you a little bit more about how each of these work. But I think one of the big things, complete design flexibility. There's a pre-built starting point. Mobile is something we think about right off the bat, which is becoming more and more important on a daily basis. Having multiple sites, B2B and B2C, on a single platform. Dynamic merchandising, and of course, faceted search. And we'll show you in some of the customer examples the importance of things like this. And then last but not least is advanced promotions and pricing, all which we'll show you as we go through the course of the demo and the importance of this in the solution. The other thing we'll show you is the SuiteCommerce Customer Center and really talk about how this self-service online account management solution can help service your customers and really is a differentiator for the solution. It's mobile ready with responsive design. And of course, you can completely customize it both for your look and feel and what you need in terms of servicing your customers. And again, I think this is one of the big things when we talk about the differentiators with the NetSuite solution is how do you drive and enable those buying efficiencies? Routine, repeat, and bulk ordering. How do you reduce those support requests by allowing people to do it on their own through online self-service? And, of course, delivering that mobile experience, not just for mobile phones, but for tablets as well. So with that, what I want to do now is go ahead and turn the ball over to Owen, who's going to really walk you through into a demo to kind of showcase some of the things that I've talked about in the course of this kind of initial introduction. And then I'll come back at the end. We'll go through a couple of customer examples and, of course, open the lines give you an opportunity to ask some questions through the chat and answer those as well. So with that, Owen?
Great. Thank you, Ranga. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to momentarily begin sharing. So during today's demonstration, we're going to step through together.
Perfect.
Oh, sure. We're going to step through this example demo site, SuiteOffice. And we'll explore the B2B shopping experience NetSuite SuiteCommerce offers right out of the box. We'll view how online orders are created in real time in NetSuite ERP for fulfillment. And then we'll also step through the B2B online 24/7 self-serve customer center, also native right out of the box with SuiteCommerce. So with NetSuite SuiteCommerce, we offer a B2C-like experience with the B2B required functionality, such as paying invoices online, purchasing based upon your omnichannel credit balance, and even viewing your own specific price schedules based upon your negotiated contract with, in this case, SuiteOffice. And the key is that nowadays, B2B purchasers, whether they're engineers or purchasing agents or other roles in the professional world, they have the same exact expectations for a great buying experience, whether they're on their couch at night, on their tablet, purchasing from, say, Zappos or Amazon, or during their workday. And with NetSuite Commerce, we have much of this expected B2C capabilities right out of the box that can be leveraged within. So, first of all, with NetSuite Commerce, it is fully responsive end-to-end. So what this means is that if there were, let's say, a purchasing agent who visited the Suite Office site on their smartphone, this website will automatically resize, rescale on the fly based upon their device's screen size. And I'm going into the responsive design view right now within Firefox to simulate being on a smartphone and a tablet, as if I were to hold up my iPhone right now, the rest of you would not be able to see it. But you'll notice I've gone into this tablet resolution. This homepage is automatically rescaled on the fly. If I further reduce the resolution, like let's go down to 320 by 480, which is more common for an iPhone, sure enough, right on the fly, this has now been reduced. And we're showing the same content and the same products across all devices. We're just basically, rescaling the view based upon the device. The reason why this is important is that nowadays many purchasers will begin product research on their smartphones, when they're in line before a meeting begins, when they're on the train going to work. But at the end of the day, they're still more comfortable purchasing on a desktop or laptop where they have that, keypad and a mouse. By having the same content, same product across all devices, it's going to be that fastest pathway to conversion when that purchasing agent returns to your website at a later time. And by utilizing NetSuite Commerce's responsive design, this is fully out of the box and no separate code base is needed to support mobile users. And once again, this is fully end-to-end from my account to checkout to the dynamic shopping experience. So I scroll further down. This is an example of a dynamic merchandising zone. Now, many other e-commerce platforms admittedly have similar product zones. But the key difference is that with NetSuite Commerce, we can leverage all the rich, robust, omnichannel information stored in NetSuite ERP CRM and expose that in real time up to the website with no integration needed, as e-commerce is part of the same unified platform as NetSuite CRM and ERP. So this is a very basic example where, hey, for the omnichannel bestseller, so who cares where the order came from, whether it came from e-commerce, through a local sales rep, let's say it was a large order, 1,000 printers, or even through an old school fax. We can leverage that purchasing behavior and then segment based upon it as any information contained in the item master, any metric, any data can be segmented and then used within the zone. So in this basic example, as mentioned, this is based upon omnichannel bestsellers. However, since you have access to the entire item master, you can have very discrete business rules where you could say, hey, let's show best-selling products that we have a 22% profit margin on, that we have an overstock scenario of in a specific warehouse, and is, let's say, a replenishment product, such as printer cartridges. And by setting up these discrete business rules, this can significantly increase the average order size. And a business user is able to set this up by using a NetSuite Sage search. No programming needed. Now, within NetSuite Commerce, there are multiple different ways to discover products. I'm currently signed in as a Suite Office B2B customer. So when I go into products now, it's displaying overall the 204 results for me. Out of the box, NetSuite Commerce offers a successive faceted search. What this means is that as I select options, such as let's go into printers, and then 3D printers, the search is intelligently updating on the fly and guiding me through to only displaying applicable options. It's similar to having the sales rep right next to me, but of course I can access this online when it's most convenient to myself. So since I've selected 3D printers, it's now prompting me, what brand are you interested in? What printer color? What power supply? Even though the SuiteOffice website offers a wide array of products, laptops, traditional printers, cooling fans, because I've selected printers, it's only displaying applicable facets. And this guided search is going to help me narrow down and convert based upon the most relevant product options for me. And you'll note too, as I step through this, like if I filter down and select 3D systems, this page is updating very quickly on the fly. And the reason for this is that with NetSuite Commerce, we use something called AJAX, or asynchronous JavaScript. And this enables that great customer buying experience because we're only updating the part of the page that actually has to change. Every time I click a link, NetSuite Commerce is not doing a full page refresh, as this can induce delays and also cause customer frustration. We're only updating the part of the page that actually has to change, and we're also propagating all the content automatically out to the Akamai Content Delivery Network so that the content is always served to me from the closest server. So if I'm in New York City is delivering all the static site content to me, regardless of device, of course. So I've casually browsed down and gone to printers, 3D printers, and then 3D systems. One thing to note is this is more of an attribute-based search. We can certainly build an application-based one as well. So let's say it was valve. You can include questions such as what environment does this valve need to be used in? You know, what temperature does it have to hold up to? Even like what's the valve logic? That's all possible as any attribute on the item master, including custom attributes, can be included in this successive faceted search. Now, as I'm logged in as a current SuiteOffice customer with a contract with them, I'm now able to view my own specific price schedule. So, for instance, with this 3D Systems Cubify Cubex 3D printer, you can see 0 to 9 is $18.74, 10 to 19 is $17.99. And once again, this is specific to my contract with SuiteOffice. So I'm offered the same price whether I call up Jimbo, my local sales rep, I send an email to SuiteOffice, or I just simply and easily purchase online. That same purchasing experience across all channels. I've just selected this triple head printer, and this is an example of a product detail page. My disclaimer is, hey, this is just one way that it can look. With NetSuite Commerce, it truly is a blank canvas or a blank sheet of paper that offers you pixel-level control to match any branding or aesthetic initiatives you may have. So for this one example product page, I'm able to view, once again, my price breaks, of course, but then also a high-res image gallery. This high-resolution image gallery is very similar to Scene 7, the difference being it's built in and there's no additional cost for it. Apart from having the magnifying capability, as well as a gallery where I can step through and view all this, what's very convenient and efficient from a time-saving perspective is that as an employee of SuiteOffice, if I were to go in and add a new image for this product, all that I need to do is upload one high-resolution image per view into NetSuite back office. And then once I do that, it's automatically going to save static images based upon properties within the site. So it's going to have, the category view, the search result view, the high-res product view, and then store all of those statically up on Akamai. So in other words, as an employee, I no longer have to go into Photoshop and save it 5 different times. NetSuite handles all that automatically for you. So let's scroll further down. This is an example of the upsell cross-sell recommendation engine. And we offer both in basic algorithm-driven recommendation engine and then manual recommendations that a role such as a merchandiser would traditionally do. So under related products I'm able to view, you may also like, so a merchandiser went into NetSuite Commerce and said, hey, when somebody is looking at this specific printer, let's always recommend these 3 printer cartridges for the 3D ink. At the same time, though, with the built-in algorithm that NetSuite offers, we're intelligently looking at omnichannel transactional history once again. We're not just looking at data stuck in the siloed world of e-commerce. This is across all transactional touch points, call centers, sales reps, fax, email. And based upon this information and correlation lift thresholds, this algorithm is intelligently then recommending these other products. And as a site owner, you're able to determine, do I want to offer the algorithm to increase the average order size? Do I want to do manual recommendations or a combination of both as shown here? Out-of-the-box capability. So let's scroll further down. This is an example of the built-in NetSuite review tool. And, just like with Scene 7, if you did want to pay for that, we can certainly plug that into your site. Similarly, if you do want to pay for a Bazaar Voice or Power Reviews, you could do so too. But there are a few benefits to using our native capability for this. First of all, hey, there's no additional cost. And in addition, you have complete control of all the content in your entire site. So if I were to go in and write a review for this, there's a full checks and balances internally that you would have access to. So that if somebody gave you, a 1-star and it was obviously a competitor, if you wanted to, you could exclude that from your customer-facing website. Or with many other third-party platforms, you must have to write an essay on why you don't want that unfair 1-star review to be posted. Now, as with all features within this, reviews are optional. And we see, though, however, while traditionally this is many times more of a B2C context, by including it within B2B sites, it really can help build up confidence. So if I'm an engineer and I'm looking at, let's say, programmable logic circuits, having feedback from other engineers about, let's say, a new PLC that I have not purchased in the past can really build up confidence in me of trying this new product and then actually driving to that conversion and purchasing. So strongly recommended and no additional cost. So at this point, let's now go in and add this to my shopping cart. One thing to note is that it is showing availability being 137 in stock. This is really just a preference that you can set yourself as a business user. Basically, we could show in stock or out of stock simply, or if we wanted, we could show specific inventory counts as shown here. We can also determine on a per item basis the out of stock behavior, such as, hey, do you want to show an out of stock message and accept back orders? Or if you want to even spoof that it is still in stock, you have complete control of display on a per SKU basis. I'm going to add this to the cart. We'll come to the add to list in a few moments. So when I add this to the cart, this is an example of how the mini cart could look. Once again, really just up to your preference, as this is a blank canvas, blank sheet paper, however you may want to consider it. For this display of the mini cart, it's then encouraging me to keep browsing through the site instead of diverting me to that dedicated shopping cart page. Every strategy, every functionality included within NetSuite Commerce is based upon research, and it's proven. So that's why instead of diverting to the dedicated shopping cart page, we want to increase that average order size for you and have that customer continue to shop. So we found this printer by casually navigating down through products and using the successive faceted search. I'm now going to utilize the internal site product search. And this product search is powered by Solar, which is an enterprise-grade fuzzy matching search engine. What this simply means is that I can go in and have typos, like if I'm on a rush, if I'm on the phone talking to a customer while I'm trying to place my own order for my business, no worries. We can intelligently recommend product matches, including brand name and product name matches. Many other e-commerce platforms have a dictionary lookup. So in other words, if it's a word within, say, Merriam-Webster, you're in luck. With NetSuite Commerce, we're actually using natural language processing. So we're looking at the relationship between letters to intelligently recommend products, including for unique words. Like in this case for Sony, with the type ahead, even though I left out the O, we're still intelligently picking up, hey, this customer is most likely looking for Sony products, so we're showing the most relevant ones to my criteria. Now, if I wanted to, I could go in and click on one of these images and dive directly to the product page, or if I wanted to view all the results, this is now an example of the optimized search kicking into play. So the faceted search engine and the keyword search is powered by the same solar engine. And because of this, we're intelligently picking up that, hey, I'm looking for Sony, then it's only providing applicable options for the result set. So right now there's 179 products being returned. The categories and the types and the features, all these different attributes are only being displayed for the products that have been returned. So there's no option as a customer for me to see 0 results found, because it's very frustrating, right? That's a dead end basically telling me, hey, Mr. Customer, we don't want your business. Well, NetSuite Commerce, that won't happen to this optimized algorithm. So now if I go into PCs and laptops, sure enough, it's offering me then the Sony Vaio laptop. And it never shuts down, so we can all work 7 days a week, 24/7, as shown here with the product description. So previously, we added the printer to the cart. This time, let's add this to a product list. So product lists are really, in a sense, planned purchasing lists, kind of a private wish list, and this is very commonly used in the B2B space. For instance, if I'm an engineer, I could step through the site, build out a product list for a specific customer project, like let's say, Smith's conveyor system install. And then if I'm a contact on the same customer account as the purchasing department, then purchasing can go in at a later time, view my product list, and then actually place that order. It can also be used where if you have an application engineer on the phone with a customer, that application engineer or customer service rep, however you may want to consider them, they can build out a product list based upon their conversation with that customer. In other words, their recommendations based upon the use case. The next time that customer logs into your website, they're going to see that specific list of products that's been recommended to them by that expert, and then they're one click away from placing that order and you generating that conversion. At this time, I'm going to add this product to a list, the San Mateo office. However, when we go into the My Account in about 3 minutes, we'll dive into some more details and really see how this fully works from the customer-facing perspective. Okay. So now let's go in and transact. So I'm going to go and view my cart. We have this one printer with, of course, my own price level as I'm the current customer. I'm also able to view my default ship-to address, which I could certainly change, but that's being pulled from my Customer Master NetSuite CRM. That's also calculating shipping and handling based upon that zip as well. For your higher value customers, you can also automatically offer them free shipping as shown here. So it can also be based upon the relationship or on the omnichannel transactional history. So let's go a little bit further down. This is actually something that you've probably seen within Amazon.com, Save for Later, where the last time I was within Suite Office, I wasn't quite sure if I did need this RP cooling system, so I basically parked it by simply selecting Save for Later. At this time, though, it looks like that IT project has moved forward with an approved budget, so I'm now going to add this back into my cart and transact on this. And then one last attempt to increase that average order size. We're also now upselling, cross-selling based upon my real-time cart contents as well. Never want to leave an opportunity for money to be on the table, so we're maximizing every possible chance to increase average order size. So I'm now going to proceed to checkout. As it's been more than 20 minutes since I last signed in, it's prompting me once again to quickly log in before going to checkout. And this is to maintain PCI compliancy. And with NetSuite SuiteCommerce, as it is software as a service, we handle the entire PCI compliancy and hosting from a technical perspective. That's on our shoulders. As a website owner, you don't have to worry about that. And we are level 1 PCI compliant, the highest level of service due to the high volume of customers transacting through NetSuite SuiteCommerce, as Ranga touched upon on one of his previous slides. So I'm now within the secure server, fully PCI compliant, of course. And this is an example of our one-page checkout. We also do have a multi-step checkout available as well. As with many functionalities and options within NetSuite SuiteCommerce, it's really just based upon your own preference, how you would like your own website to be set up. We're highly flexible and extensible. So in this one-page checkout is pulling in my default shipping address, which is the omnichannel shipping address naturally, default delivery options, and then importantly, payment methods. So I could pay by credit card, but as I'm a current B2B customer with SuiteOffice and I have a contract with them, I can also choose to pay by invoice. Very common within the B2B world. And now at this moment, it's pulling in real time my omnichannel available balance. Once again, it's not just the amount allotted to me online. It's across all of my purchasing behavior with SuiteOffice, whether I'm doing it through a call center, fax, EDI, or even just with a sales rep. So this is showing me that I have an available balance of $62,000 and my negotiated terms are 2% 10 net 30. I could also, if wanted, throw in a PO number for internal tracking purposes within my purchasing department. So there we go. Now this PO number is going to be appended on all invoices and payment stubs moving forward within both NetSuite back office and within the online e-commerce self-serve customer center. So I continue on. It's going to provide a quick summary to me. Okay, and then I can place this order for a total of $18,000, and of course on terms. Now with NetSuite as a real-time system, as soon as I place this order, if I now switch tabs and go into NetSuite back office, so in other words, as a SuiteOffice employee, if I pull up this customer, SmartTech, that's who we were transacting as in the customer-facing website. I'm going into their customer master right now. The customer master is a summary of every touch point, every interaction across all channels between SuiteOffice and SmartTech supplies. So in other words, I'm able to view details such as transactions, including, sure enough, here's that $18,000 transaction sales order 111420 we just created together from the customer-facing perspective. I'm also able to view all communication, whether it's emails back and forth, marketing behavior and purchase habits, over to even financial details. But fully encrypted, of course, for PCI compliancy. Credit card numbers are not entirely shown. If I go into SuiteCommerce extensions as an employee, I'm now able to view then the product list. So this is the employee-facing view for call center to build up lists or to market against. Momentarily, as promised, we will go into the customer-facing side of product lists as well. So if I go back to the sales tab, the sales order was generated in real time in NetSuite ERP, and then we'll immediately follow whatever routing rules are set up for fulfillment. As I'm one click away from beginning the fulfillment process. The key to all this is that NetSuite Commerce is literally the same as NetSuite CRM, is the same as NetSuite ERP, is the same as NetSuite OMS. It's one single unified platform, one database, one single source of truth for that consistent customer experience across all channels. So as mentioned, the customer master is a summary of every touch point, every interaction between SuiteOffice and SmartTech. Let's now put back on our customer purchasing hats and go to the customer-facing website. I'm now going to go into then the online customer center. This online customer center, or My Account, is just a real-time online representation of all that rich information from the customer master in NetSuite CRM. And this is all right out of the box, day one, available for you to leverage in your own website. So as a customer, I'm now able to go in and view all of my orders. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this is, of course, the omnichannel order history. We don't care where it comes from. It's not just exclusively from the website. So, for instance, as a purchasing agent, I can go in and view orders that were created through a sales rep and view order status for that. If I were to go into an order, such as this one we just placed together, this is now pulling up in real time current order status, such as pending fulfillment, details around it, and then payment information too. And note that there isn't a payment method applied as an invoice has not been generated, and at the same time I didn't pay by credit card. However, if I were to go into an order that's already been billed, such as this $1,800 one, we're able to view now that for the Sanyo TV and the Canyon laser multifunction printer and a couple other products I purchased, this is then that exact invoice that has been generated. And I can also view the invoice directly online as well. And the invoice is literally the same invoice from the customer-facing experience within My Account or from NetSuite back office. It's the same numbering system for full traceability from the customer-facing side to the employee side. Now, within the order, I can also easily reorder from this. Once again, the goal is to always increase average order size, increase recurring customer transactions. So I'm able to either specifically reorder one item at a time or the whole order. Takes this one step further. I can even go into reorder items, and it's going to show me my omnichannel purchase history based upon my own selected time period. So if I'm a repeat purchaser, and let's say I'm always purchasing the same, screws, in other words, hardware, I'm never quite sure what thread type I need to purchase, I can go into my order history and without any risk, safely reorder the right product for the manufacturing floor. Also built into the My Account section is full RMA or return capability. So if I were to go into an order that's already been billed, in other words, I have the goods in hand, from this order I'm able to go in and request return. And hey, as NetSuite CRM is NetSuite Ecommerce, the one the same database, same unified platform, this capability is also built in. So as a customer, I'm able to go in. Of course, there can be custom return reasons. This is just our default selection. So we'll say, hey, this printer was defective. I'll say, won't turn on. As soon as I submit this online, it's then going to tie into the NetSuite ticketing system for customer service. What this means is that immediately then, based upon whatever workflow you may have set up, as NetSuite offers a full point-and-click workflow engine, it's then going to be routed to the appropriate customer service rep. And then as a customer, I'm able to view all responses and interactions right online through this. And we can see return rate requests R831 generated. This also means as a customer, I can go into the return section of the site and also view status. So for instance, for R826, which has been already refunded, I can go and view details on this. And like all areas of my account, I can also convert it to a PDF to either store locally on my own laptop or desktop, print out, or send to a coworker, as shown here. Around customer service, we also have built-in cases, as CRM is e-commerce, one and the same for us. And as mentioned, NetSuite e-commerce is fully omnichannel, so regardless of where the case originates from, so whether as a customer I emailed the customer service desk, or let's say I started a live chat through Live Person, or I picked up the phone and called the customer support department, or even simply created a new case online, I can view my case history 24/7 right online, and then also view responses for this as well, such as promo code not working on the website. Let's see here. Catherine Wynn, the CSR, says, hey, it's only valid for customers who are in good credit standing. Looks like I have some bills to pay. Before we go in and pay the bill, though, let's briefly go into product lists. And once again, product lists are leveraged both by purchasers as well as by CSRs and application engineers to help increase the average order size and convert orders. So for my product list, I have 3 of them right now: Montevideo office, Oklahoma City office, and San Mateo. In this case, we have a simple, office purchasing example. These could be allocated based upon specific customer projects or even product lines. If I go into the San Mateo office, okay, I'm now able to view these 13 items that, as a customer, I've added to this list. It's really, in a sense, park these items for me so I can transact on them at a later time. Now that I'm within my account, I have the flexibility to either remove some of these, like let's say I no longer needed the Avery binder. I can just simply delete that from this list, and it'll immediately update for me. I can also move products between lists. Of course, I could add additional products to this list by going to product page, just like we did with the Sony laptop, and it was added to this list. Or I could go through and either add the entire list to my shopping cart or discreetly pick one product at a time. The significant benefit here, though, is that you're enabling your customers to plan out future purchasing cycles, whether it's seasonal or project-based, and then at a later time go back in and transact just one click away. And as mentioned too, this can also enable your sales reps and support department to also build up lists on behalf of your own customers to ensure that they purchase the right products for their needs and, of course, drive their business to you instead of another customer as you're providing the significant value added to their purchase cycle. The last area within my account I wanted to touch upon was billing. This is also something very unique to NetSuite Ecommerce that other e-commerce platforms are unable to offer. If I go into my billing account balance, this is now showing me my omnichannel credit standing. So based upon the $75,000 credit limit granted to me, I have $62,000 available due to my $12,000 outstanding balance. I'm also able to go into this and view any outstanding credit memos, most likely due to returns or damaged goods, and even my terms that I've negotiated with SuiteOffice. Once again, 2% 10 net 30. Instead of needing to call up SuiteOffice or waiting in the mail for my statement to come, as a customer, I'm able to generate a statement online 24/7. Of course, this is my omnichannel statement, not just e-commerce. I could email this to a colleague or even go in and generate a PDF right on the fly. Now we're able to view all of my activity over the last 30 days as I use the default date range. So I'm able to view my balance forward. It looks like I also had a credit memo issued for $1,344. Some further payments made against my outstanding invoices, and even 2 new invoices generated. I can also view my balance past due. It looks like, so this is why I wasn't able to use that promotion. Like Catherine, the customer service rep, told me, I have $9,900 past due over 90 days. Let's do something about that. So to make a payment, I'm going to go back into my account balance, and we're going to continue on to payment. At this point, it's automatically flagging my past due invoices. Looks like I have a lot of red there. In any promotions where this invoice down here, there is a 2% discount applied if I pay this off before 9/26. So it's motivation for me to get on top of my bills. If I'm unsure of, hey, what was this invoice for, the $1,786, if I click on this, it's going to provide a quick summary to me. And once again, this is the same invoice number in NetSuite ERP as well as within e-commerce for full traceability purposes. It's one single instance, one single source of truth. If I wanted more information, what I could do is go in and view the order itself or go to the detail page. So I go to the detail page, and I'm just quick opening this up in a new tab. It's going to display then this exact invoice for me. And it's an omnichannel invoice, so who cares whether this was created online or not? I'm still able to report on this and take action against my outstanding balance. So it looks like I purchased, a TV, a multifunction printer, and a touchscreen monitor. Let's make a payment against this then to take advantage of that discount. And this is just another preference, but if wanted, we can support partial pay. So here I'm going to instead make a payment of $182. I'm just chipping away at this bill. But you'll note it's showing me that discount is only available for the full payment. Are you sure you only want to pay off $182? Unfortunately, I have creditors breathing down my neck. I do need to only do the partial payment. But it did give me fair warning, so expectations have been set. I can also pay off multiple invoices at the same time, too, so let's fully pay off this $29 invoice. So I move forward. It's flagging me that a payment method is not required. The reason for this is I do have outstanding credit memos on my account. However, for demonstration purposes today, I'm just going to go through and pay it using my credit card as shown here. Now, important, I've already received the goods. I've been invoiced. If I'm making a payment, there's no reason to take me through the whole checkout process again. So instead, this is contained entirely within the customer center when I make a payment. But, of course, it is still PCI compliant level 1 tier service. So now when I go through and submit this, setting the credit card gateway, and it's just providing a quick note that looks like my card bounced. So I will actually go through now and do the credit memo. My credit standing is that poor, but that's an example of the gateway actually refusing it based upon the card balance. And now when I go through, okay, it's showing me that a deposit credit memo application was generated. And sure enough, I paid off these 2 invoices using this credit memo 5. So it's been automatically credited based upon that memo. And now I can either go in and make another payment or go to my transaction history. So even if I wanted to, I could go through and let's say I wanted to report on last year. If I scroll down, we can view other payment stubs as well. And of course, these are, omnichannel payment stubs. So whether it came through wire transfer to NetSuite back office or online as we just briefly stepped through together. As you've, most seen through this demo, though, with NetSuite Commerce, we provide robust B2B capabilities, including specific functionalities such as product lists, getting billing information online, invoices, transaction history, customer-specific pricing, paying by terms, while at the same time offering a dynamic, rich B2C-like purchasing experience that purchasing agents, engineers, and other roles within the professional workplace have come to expect. And all of this is native and available for you right out of the box with NetSuite Ecommerce. At this point, Ranga, I'm going to switch control back to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Owen. All right. I do have control now. So let me. So what I want to do, I'm just going to spend a few minutes going through a couple of customer examples, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and feel free to go ahead and write those in, and we'll answer those here in a few minutes. One of the things that hopefully you got across from Owen's presentation and hopefully from the presentation before is obviously NetSuite is quite rich, and there's quite a bit that we could show you. Really what we've done as part of this demo is just kind of scratch the surface and what we've shown you in terms of actually showing you our B2B commerce functionality. There's, of course, much more that we could show you around our full ERP solution, and even on the commerce side, the B2C side of things as well. But for now, we're going to focus on just a couple of customer examples, and of course, we'd be glad to follow up with you, to many of you, if you wanted to see more of those details. So the first customer example I want to talk about is Bailey, and I love these guys. They're based out of Knoxville, Tennessee, which is near and dear to my own heart, and they're a leading manufacturer and distributor of mobile hydraulic components. So very different than what you saw in the Suite Office example. But really, the cool thing with Bailey is they're running their financials, their e-commerce, their reporting, inventory, manufacturing, distribution, customer service, and supply chain operations, all on the NetSuite platform. Before NetSuite, Bailey had been running their business on an aging on-premise system that was built on an AS400, and they had to have a number of folks that were managing it. They had three full-time developers that were having to manage and keep this system up and running, which was expensive. And obviously, not just expensive, but it's not part of their core competency. And instead of focusing on things around their business, they were focusing on just keeping up this aging AS400 system. And really, for them, when they went out, they needed a manufacturing distribution solution, but they also knew that they wanted to start moving their customer base to e-commerce and be able to provide that capability to their customers and allow them to order directly from them. And of course, you see their website on the screen here. You're of course welcome to go and look at it. You can see some of the functionality and features that they've been having. It's a great website and a great example of B2B commerce in practice running on NetSuite. The second example I also want to show you is PAG, and PAG is a UK-based company. They're an apparel wholesaler distributing clothing for the world's best brands. So some examples: Gildan, Fruit of the Loom, etc. One of the things that you can really go and see with their example is you can see some of the really nice things around, like, say, faceted search and navigation, some of the dynamic merchandising stuff, some of the product imagery. But one of the things they've implemented is an advanced grid order sheet, helping customers quickly and easily select and add items to their cart. But one of the big things for them is they are similar to Bailey in that they're running NetSuite and are running their business end to end. So not only do they have both their B2B and B2C side of things running on top of NetSuite, they've also got all their financials, their inventory management, their order management, all running on top of NetSuite. And they don't even have a dedicated IT staff, which is really a great thing. One of the other big things I want to point out about these guys is they started on NetSuite in 2008. And they really started it just with the back office and the financial side of things. And then over time, they added the e-commerce functionality. And I think this is another important point as well. It's not all big bang. It's not something you have to all update or adopt right off the bat. You can, of course, adopt that over time as it makes sense for your business. So with that, what I want to go ahead and do is there's a number of questions that have come in, and I want to answer some of those questions. So I think one of the first ones, just very simple, is the Bailey website built for the NetSuite platform? And the short answer is yes. That's not only using it for the back end, but of course for the front end as well with commerce. And then one of the other questions, which I'll ask to Owen, the question comes in is, we're a manufacturing company that sells to distributors and will ship to either a branch location or the end user location. And do you have the ability for the distributor to ship to multiple locations?
Yeah, and at a high level, I can say, yes, NetSuite Commerce does support split ship. We would, of course, want to get into details and a follow-up conversation on specific shipping methods and details around that, but that is possible, yes.
Perfect. One of the other questions, and I can answer this, comes in around we don't only sell online, we also have some stores. Do you have POS capabilities available as well? And as I talked about earlier, we do have POS capabilities that are part of NetSuite as well. So if you have a physical store, you can also enable that directly with our solution. I think as Owen talked about when throughout his presentation, he's talked about the omni-channel capabilities in NetSuite, and obviously one of the big parts of that is that we recognize and we know we have customers that have multiple channels, and all those channels are able to be supported leveraging the NetSuite platform. Another question that came in, and I can answer this, is, do you have any marketing tools that are built into, or do you have any marketing tools built in? Is the question. I assume that the question is, do you have any marketing tools built into NetSuite? And of course, the short answer is yes. There are a number of different options available on the marketing front. Not to mention, of course, that not to also mention that NetSuite recently acquired Bronto. If you're not familiar with Bronto, very much on the email marketing side of things, great solution, great logo and mascot, of course. But there's also been there are some other tools around marketing built into NetSuite. that are available to you and that are part of the solution. And we can definitely talk about that offline if it makes sense. And another good question, which this is it's a little tougher question. It's not directly a NetSuite question, but I'll go ahead and ask it, and then and try to give you my perspective. Is how do some of your customers go about encouraging their customers to use B2B commerce? And personally, this is a good question. I get this question a lot from distributors, and I think one of the challenges is when people think about B2B commerce as a competitive sales channel to their sales force. And I think one of the ones, what I've seen is the distributors that have been successful with commerce think of it just as another avenue for their customers to order. And we actually talked to a customer literally this week that talked about talking to one of their customers, and they mentioned, hey, I noticed you always call us and order these 6 things. You could just go online and order those on your own if you wanted to. And they asked the question, how do I do that? The customer, of course, was able to show them through the My Account how they do that, how they could order all those things repeatedly. And they said, you know what? Now from going forward, when I want to order these items, I'm going to just go to the website and do that. So there's definitely an education process as part of it. We see, one of the things they mentioned to this customer mentioned to us is it is an ongoing education process to get their customers up to speed of what those capabilities are, that they have the ability to order from them online, and really they're trying to drive that repeat business and the ongoing, the usual stuff that people are ordering online. And then call us when you need help, or call us when you need some guidance or need some product information. Of course, we'll be there. But rather than making them competitive channels, if you make it part of the same, you encourage your customers to go whatever channel makes sense for them. I think as that stat I shared at the beginning, we're seeing more and more customers increasing their share of wallet by doing that, and instead of going to some other avenue. Let me just double check if there's any other quick questions, and then this is a good one to you. The question is, can sales reps in the field use this to order when they're with customers? And the only thing I'd add to that is, I think of customers that have mobile, have outside reps. Can they use this on the mobile field solution or data entry solution?
Yeah, so our recommendation for sales reps to enter orders would be to do so directly in NetSuite back office. As NetSuite back office is fully responsive as well. It's just a little bit more of a streamlined process, and it's that employee view as well, so they're able to view more metrics, more information specifically around the customer. However, from a clienteling perspective, they can certainly, use the website to display new products. Let's say download CAD drawings on behalf of customers, view videos alongside the customer, what have you, to help engage the customer during the sales cycle.
Perfect. Thanks, Owen. All right. With that, I think there's a few other questions that have come in, but we'll of course answer those separately offline. As I mentioned before, if you do have other questions, you want to see a more detailed demo, you want to see something more specific to your own environment, have questions about other customer examples, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be glad to do that. This session was recorded, and of course, we'll have that recording available to you if you missed any portion of it or want to share that with anyone else within your organization. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation, and look forward to speaking to you in the future. Thank you.